LG recently introduced its new QNED TV series in India, and we have the 55-inch QNED 83 Smart TV with us. LG claims that its QNED range brings in a new era of LED LCD TVs. But what exactly sets the QNED apart from other LED LCD technologies like, say, QLED? And more importantly, is this TV worth your consideration? I am Deepak Singh and I'll address these questions and more in our LG QNED 83 review. Let's kick things off with a closer look at the aesthetics. The LG QNED 83 certainly exudes those premium vibes. The bezels on the front are narrow and uniform. The stand is a premium metal towards the front and polycarbonate on the back. It's stable and looks good, so we don't mind the hybrid construction. Ports on the rear are well spaced. They are all present in a recess, but it's a wide recess and all ports should be easily accessible even if the TV is wall mounted. LG's Magic Remote is what we're quite familiar with and also quite like. It's an ergonomic remote with all the curves and buttons in the right places and has a decent set of hotkeys. The magic feature is that the remote has a gyroscope and accelerometer to guide the pointer. You can flick the remote like a wand and directly point to and select your desired options. This initially takes some getting used to, but once you pass the learning curve, it is quite convenient. Now before we get to the picture quality performance, let's talk a bit about QNED. LG's QNED basically combines QLED and nanocell technology. The thing is that all LED LCD TVs eventually pass the light through a color filter. This color filter acts as a sieve and separates red, blue and green components from the white light. But what if the white light that is originating from the LEDs in the backlight doesn't have these components proportionally? What if it's more blue and has very little of red and green? In that case, your TV won't be able to reproduce a high color volume of red and green or those saturated shades of red and green. That's the problem that quantum dots in QLED and QNED TVs address. These TVs use a quantum dot enhancement film or QDEF layer that converts portions of light from the blue LEDs in the backlight to red and green, or in other words, enhances the quality of white light. This results in purer colors and support for a wider color gamut. Additionally, LG's QNED TVs also integrate nanocell technology, which means adding some nanoparticles in the LCD substrate. These nanoparticles absorb unwanted color wavelengths, which once again results in purer colors. But there is a very interesting third aspect to the QNEDs as well. LG uses an IPS LCD panel for these TVs, which is unlike most QLED TVs that ship with a VA LCD panel. Now, IPS LCD panels have a lower native contrast as compared to VA panels, but they are still preferred by many consumers. This is primarily because you can trust them for wide viewing angles, both horizontal and vertical. Besides, they're also more responsive for gaming and don't have issues like black smearing that some gamers are sensitive to. And for such consumers who demand an IPS panel and specifically prefer it, wide color gamut options are very limited and LG QNED is perhaps the best choice. If you're interested in more details about QNED technology, we have added a link in the description below. Do check it out. Now let's talk about picture quality. Unlike the high-end models in the series, this is not a mini LED TV. The QNED 83 has a edge-lit IPS LCD panel with local dimming support. We took all measurements using a Spectracal C6 HDR 2000 colorimeter and Calman Ultimate software. Most color accurate presets are Cinema mode and Filmmaker mode with the white point close to D65. The QNED display is capable of reproducing a wide color gamut. To start with, the color volume of the panel is similar to what we get with QLED displays. We recorded up to 99% RGB coverage and 94.9% DCI-P3 coverage. As you can see here, LG has done a great job with screen uniformity. In SDR mode, the skin tones look natural. The TV does well when it comes to bright SDR sequences. In dark SDR scenes, we noticed that blacks and light gray details were not great, but overall the TV did better than expected when compared to most other LED LCD TVs that we have tested. In our color checker test, the LG QNED 83 performed really well. We recorded an average delta error of 3 with occasionally a color exceeding 4. What this means is that the colors are perceptibly accurate. LG QNED 83 does a great job of upscaling legacy content. If you like motion smoothing, you can switch from Filmmaker mode to Cinema mode. When it comes to HDR, this TV supports Dolby Vision in HDR10. We recorded a peak brightness of 849 nits and BD2020 color coverage of 70% in UV terms. For a better perspective, these stats are comparable to higher mid-range QLED TVs. In the Filmmaker mode, the TV tracks EOTF curve rather faithfully, which means the TV will properly brighten or darken different scenes in line with the creator's intent. In our HDR color checker test, we recorded an average delta error of under 3.0 without any calibration, which is excellent. Once again, the TV does really well in bright and mixed APL HDR sequences. Skin tones are natural and there are sufficient details in the highlight. In the dark HDR scenes like the scene in C, blacks feel muddy and we were left wanting for slightly more contrast. If you're watching content prominently with dark scenes, you can turn local dimming to high and get better contrast. But this works best if you have subtitles turned off. By default, the local dimming is set to low and it does a good job of masking the IPS glare, but at the expense of some noticeable blooming. The 20-watt speakers with Dolby Atmos offer wide sound stage and decent dialogue clarity, but for a truly immersive experience, you will need to invest in a soundbar. All picture processing is handled by the 6th generation Alpha 7 AI processor 4K. This is a mid-tier chip in LG's lineup and it's paired with 8GB storage, 5.68GB of which is available to end users. UI transitions are reasonably smooth. AI features like AI Picture Pro and AI Sound Pro are also supported. The interface is intuitive and we could easily find the options that we were looking for. The quick settings menu overlay makes it convenient to switch picture modes and audio modes when the content is playing. We didn't face any issues casting from popular apps on the phone to the TV or mirroring the phone screen. The TV supports Apple AirPlay 2 and HomeKit. WebOS makes it easier to remotely connect and access other devices like your PC or your browser. The LG Voice Assistant can't quite match up to the dexterity of Alexa and Google Assistant when it comes to looking up content. LG provides a dedicated key for Alexa, which works by activating the LG TV skill on your Amazon account. Once set, you can press the Alexa button to use Alexa's voice commands to open apps, search content, or operate smart home devices. And yes, there's a lot here for gamers. The 120Hz display is quite responsive. LG includes HDMI 2.1 ports, support for ALLM, VRRR, and also HGIG mode for accurate tone mapping in HDR games. We played games like Witcher 3, Fortnite, and Spider-Man Miles Morales on PS5, and the overall experience was really enjoyable. There was no hint of screen tearing in the gaming mode. The HDR impact expectedly wasn't as well pronounced as on OLEDs like LG G3, but it still delivered a pretty good experience. Overall, the LG Q980 proved to be a great option for gaming. So to sum it up, the LG Q980 is very interesting LED LCD TV. It performs really well in bright sequences and delivers a clean picture quality. The QNED display supports wide color gamut and reproduces accurate colors in HDR and SDR content. The software is easy to navigate and integrates a color accurate filmmaker mode for enthusiasts. And the gaming experience is also pretty good. Where the TV struggles is with dark sequences where blacks feel a little muddy and some blooming is apparent with the edge-lit local dimming. The major plus point is the wide viewing angles of the IPS LCD panel, which does make a difference. So if you're hesitant about OLED TVs and are looking for a capable LED LCD TV for primarily viewing in a bright living room, we can recommend the LG Q980 as an option. This TV has an MRP of 1,59,999 in India, but it is available for significantly lower than that. This should be a really cool deal after festival season discounts, so keep an eye out. So this is Deepak saying thank you for watching. If you have any questions, shoot them in the comments below and catch you in the next one. Thank you.